when a lot of these people, when they say they've cured aging, they're defining aging differently than the rest of us do. And that I think is a way for them to slip through and actually get people to believe that they've cured aging. But really, what is the definition of aging? And what is the definition of curing aging? Okay, well, I got one little question to ask of all of you. Is there anybody here that doesn't know which photo of Betty White was taken first? That's what aging is. I don't know. I can't tell you a whole bunch of biomarkers and stuff like that. People have been trying to identify biomarkers of aging forever, but nobody's actually come out with any single definitive one that's really correlated 100% to aging. But we don't need these biomarkers. We know what aging is. There it is right there. And what's the cure for aging? That's the cure for aging. When Betty White walks out on stage and looks 24 years old again, I'm going to say aging has been cured. The problem is how to get telomerase into the cells. Okay, because it's too big to actually just swallow or inject into your blood. It's too big to get inside of cells. It's just a complete waste of time. So this is one of these things I talked about last time. If you ever hear anybody selling a product that has telomerase in it, walk away, okay? Because there's no way that telomerase is going to get inside the cells. So telomeres, for those of you that don't know, telomeres are really small things inside of us. We need to zoom in on a human being to see what they are. And the first thing we see is that humans are made up of 100 trillion cells. And most of the theories on why we age say that we age because our cells age. Now you should be able to repeat this after me because you've heard it so many times. Okay, well, we got to zoom in any further, and we see that every cell contains a nucleus, and inside the nuclei are chromosomes. The chromosomes are where your genes are. They give you your hair color, your eye color, etc. When we zoom in on one chromosome, we see that a chromosome is made up of two arms, a bottom arm and a top arm. Inside each arm is this really long string of beads called DNA. It's about 100 million beads in length. The beads are called bases, so it's 100 million bases in length. And it's so long that it's all coiled up like a slinky from one end to the other. Well, the telomeres are at the end of this DNA, just like a shoelace. Think of it, this long string of beads as a long shoelace. The caps on your shoelaces that protect your shoelaces are the same as the telomeres in your chromosomes. And what they do is they protect your chromosomes. Okay, so now we zoom in on one telomere. We see, and we unravel that slinky, and we see that a telomere, when you're first conceived, is about 15,000 bases in length. And this is now where all the trouble begins, because I want you to think of this as a clock. This is a clock that's ticking inside all of us. It's a clock of aging. Okay, so when you're first conceived, your telomeres are 15,000 bases in length. As soon as your cells divide, and every single time they divide, the telomeres get a little bit shorter. Now there's a lot of cell division between the day you're conceived and your newborn baby, so your telomeres will have shortened down to 10,000 bases before you're even born. Let me ask, who here hasn't heard this before? Anybody new to this? Wow, okay. Oh, so there are people that haven't heard it, okay. All right. So you're born at 10,000 bases, so your telomeres have already shortened from 15,000 to 10,000 bases before you're even born. And this is like clockwork. You can actually measure the length of the telomeres in an embryo and determine what stage that embryo is in just from the length of the telomeres. Now the problem doesn't stop there, and there's really not a problem yet, because just like if you cut the caps on your shoelaces in half, your shoelaces are still okay. The problem starts happening when they get really short. Okay, so you're continuing to grow up. You have more and more cell division, so your telomeres are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And when your telomeres get down to 5,000 bases, your cells lose the ability to function and you die of old age. This has been shown in petri dish, human cells grown in petri dishes. It's been shown with cells taken from people at various ages, let's say skin cells, immune cells, everything. We find that the telomeres shorten down to 5,000 bases. Those cells lose the ability to function. They go into a stage called senescence, and you die of old age. This is not a theory anymore. This is an absolute fact. Every single person that works with human cells in a petri dish, in their labs, all over the world, know this. You can't stop this. This is ongoing. That's what my mission is all about, is to figure out a way to stop this. And so this is where the enzyme telomerase comes in. This is an enzyme I discovered in the mid-1990s. And it's the enzyme that occurs in our body to keep our children from being born with shorter telomeres than we have. So it makes our children born young. And so what it does is every time the telomeres get shorter, it re-lengthens the telomeres. So that's the enzyme that I'm using in my business right now to keep our telomeres long and to actually lengthen them. I want to so right now every cell of your body does not contain this enzyme, therefore your telomeres get shorter. I am working on ways to produce that enzyme in every cell so our telomeres get longer and make us younger. Now, we've already seen this work in human cells in petri dishes. We've seen this work on skin, human skin grown on the back of mice. But now what I want to show you is that telomere lengthening has reversed aging in mice. And this is the scientifically peer-reviewed journal article that says so. Okay? Nobody has refuted it. It is a fact. It's known all over the world. Thousands of labs have done similar types of experiments and can reproduce this. But that's the clinical data. So, like, we are going to find something soon enough to allow my 84-year-old father to see his own aging reversed.
Life is so funny because you learn and learn and learn, and just about the time you learned what you wanted to learn, you die.
It sometimes escapes the general public that scientists are actually human beings who enjoy having a good time as well.
I really don't know what does happen when a person dies.
I want a doctor.
There's no glory in dying. Hundreds of years from now, we're going to look back and be shocked about this horrible world that we all used to live in, where people used to get old and die.
We're interested not in slowing aging down, but in actually reversing it, turning back the biological clock. This is not science fiction.